Alright, part 2. This is part 2. In America, think of the North American continent. That's 9,540,000 square miles. That's 2 billion acres. There's 43,560 square foot in an acre. Think about it, 43,000. I mean, that's more square footage than biggest house you ever been in, or 2 or 3 of them put together. It's 3/10 of a square mile. That means one human has as much as 6.5 acres of land for just his feet, if he wanted to do that. That's 5 football fields, or 3/10 of a square mile for each person. And there is no place that one can be anywhere that is free, that's free, or has any true freedom for your presence. Your presence, there's no place that your presence can feel free because it's welcome. And most of the people of this country experience insecurity and fear. There's a dark cloud over them all the time, anywhere and every place they go. People have given into all that the corporate government controls. Those remaining with any courage can't find each other, or they can't get to any place, any meeting place of whatever. To be desensitized is to be dehumanized. Your senses are failing you, folks. Your senses have failed you or are failing you. You have no image of imagination. You have no image. You can't form images. You can't imagine things in your mind. You can't imagine you having a part in anything, any change taking place. Honestly. And to your own thoughts, if you actually think about your thoughts and your ability to think, you'll realize you think very, very little. You don't hardly think about nothing. As for individualism, it's only noticed among the elite. Their mood swings and everything else are wars that people fight and die over. And they believe themselves mentally above everybody else. So they're the only ones. We are as toy soldiers, toy cowboys and Indians, toy black and white, toy European, Islander, I mean Japan, China, everything. Think as you want, but you are not in full control of yourself or of your living life. Not if you have much conscience of the life forces that are evilly being destroyed so much. And they are the life across the earth that shares life with everything else. Whales found 1/4 mile inland from the beach. Those who outthink you just BS you all the way in media and TV, and these morons, these actors, and they tell you that maybe it's aliens or God did it. But the subject of the tractor frequency beams and this kind of stuff that can levitate and direct location change in big things, they don't talk about certain things. So taking a whale from its home out of the ocean and killing it so cruelly, and then if there's any questions or cares, then even more Hollywood scientists will assure you that this has happened before somewhere and they got a name for it. While people express concern, their excitement only creates a growing theater for the Illuminati. They gloat. They give each other high fives and smiles over top of the groans of the sheeple. Humanity is their focus of amusement, or is used to appease some of the ones who call themselves gods. But what they are, they're worshiping gods of old. They're worshiping gods of olden time and gods of blood. And I don't know, I believe it's more a game to them, because these gods, if they're gods, they're not going to be absent and gone for thousands of years. Gods are not, they're not going to lay down and be dormant. Gods don't need to do that. Think of how bored gods would be to lay back and to lay down dormant. So, I've mentioned in my other videos about some of these gods. But I got to ask you, where is your senses at these days? Where's your senses? What moves you to any real thought about anything? I'm just throwing these out there as general questions. What can you learn from your own imagination if you would let yourself have one? And can you even go there? Can you even go to your imagination? Think of all of the abandoned and the orphaned animals, and all of those animals that are burned alive, as well as people, here and there in other countries. Here and there and other countries. Or outside life. To be like a cat, to be declawed, or a crippled cat, or any other pet. And then when it's put outside and that's its new habitat, it's chased by the rest of the cats and the dogs, and they try to kill it from all sides. It's cut off from getting to any food or shelter, or any water, or any calm surroundings that it would ever know. And then eventually it's crippled up, or it's killed by a human or some other animal, and most of the time other animals that just like to kill animals. And it is defenseless, like it's declawed. It can't climb a tree, it can't get away. And you think about this right here. Can you take your whole family into a life like that? Can you be a declawed cat in a house that is all of a sudden outside with terrible things and everything is after it? It is the game, it is the fair prey of everything out here. And it can't get to food or water, and it has no friend, and it trusts no one. Can you take your whole family into a situation? What if you're thrown into a situation like that? Can your imagination even go there? If you think you could take your whole family into a life like that, well, I'm going to tell you something right now. Animals and a whole lot of other humans have had to do it. Animals and humans have had to take their whole families straight into a life. They were plunged into a life like that. And our military government in the United Nations is totally responsible for it. And our politicians are responsible for it. I mean, folks, listen. Didn't your schooling give you any hints as to the excuses that are used for wars? And where is your common, civilized, and critical thought process on the facts, not the subliminal TV and actors' messages to you? And many of these, you worship over your own individual thought process. You believe everything, and as much of you trust them. You trust them to do your thinking for you. And so you say, well, I don't need to think about it. They done already thought it out. I trust them. They're always right. Truth dazzled right into you by actors and magicians. And when and if, and I hope you do, awaken, there's a whole bunch of you is going to be overwhelmed. Because when you awaken, one of the hardest things you're going to have to do is to hold it together until you hopefully can find another one or a few that you can tell the things that you've learned and share with them. Tell them. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't think you can be overwhelmed by the stuff, you wait till you try to find a few friends that you can trust, because you have things that you really want to share with people. But who are you going to share them with? Who cares to begin with? Who cares to have something shared with them? The serious kind of people are the ones you need to look for. The people that'll get together and have some sit-downs and some powwows, so you can fill your hearts with the truth. I don't know, then maybe hit the peace pipe, help you focus a little bit on the future. Because if you can add up all of the stunts and the lies and the deceptions of the past concerning wars and violence and control and security and military might and observations, constant harassing, targeted individuals, forced inoculations, population control, all of the industry weapons that they use to depopulate the earth. I keep telling y'all, look up industry weapons for the earth's depopulation. It'll blow your mind. You got to find consultants from the few genuine researchers and the real analysts who are sincere truthers. The more real truthers should never charge anybody anything, and they should give as much of their ability to give through knowledge, perception, discernment to any ears around that want to listen to them. And someone like me, folks, let me tell you something. Someone like me no longer laughs in any kind of excitement or glee. Just don't experience laughter for years. There is nothing funny but observing the joys of all things that are innocent in their activities. I mean, you can watch puppies and kittens and stuff like that playing, possums, coons, skunks, anything, deer, horses, dogs, cats, if they're getting along and playing. That is the only thing. That's the only joy that I have. I like to tell you, just you few that are listening, they are non-stop assault on all those of this country, and some are protected against both the elements and the frequencies, and these who are protected are the ones who know what's going on, and they're part of what's going on, and they're doing it to you. They are part of the Illuminati army. The part closest to you, that's what I'm talking about. The part of the Illuminati army that's the closest to you, and hopefully some will share this, what I have told you, and about a lot of the many things, all bad, old and new, but most are not mentioning a more serious part, and that is true history reflects a different military than we are led to believe by the movies and the selected stories to traumatize us today with dramatizations and give us a very false sense of what the U.S. and the UN militaries really are like in real life. If any became skillfully or skilled killers and believable liars, then it's more than Sergeant York that's involved in this. It's Rambo, and it's the Terminator. And this can go to one's head in different ways. And does anyone have any experience in actual terrorism in America besides the Oklahoma or the Murrah building in Oklahoma and 9/11 and things like Ruby Ridge and all three of these things, the same ones that reign in America are the same ones that did all three of them things. And this kind of stuff in this country needs to have some big changes going on. You folks, I hope somebody will wake up and realize a couple things from these videos right here and share them out. You're welcome to download them and do anything with them you want to. I can send the stuff to people in an email if I can size it down small enough. Just contact me. Wes Truther.